Q&A.
Yeah, let's make Ethan work tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, hey, we are live.
Awesome. Welcome back to SwitchCast. This is the 2-year anniversary show. That's right. We can't believe that we have made it this far, but we have. Some of you can't believe it either. The Peanut Gallery left to drink their whiskey. There is actually quite so. For those of you watching live, you see a little studio. Somebody said that it looks like we did it in like a corner closet or something like that. It's actually quite a spacious area here.
Yeah, for sure.
And out in the lounge, out yonder, people will bring whiskey. There's a lot of whiskey fanatics and have a tasting, and there's some really choice things out there. There's some Bardstown. There's some very expensive whiskey and some Malort in the lineup.
Oh, that's
as well.
and that's in the center of our bar setup, because truly that is the most important thing that's out there.
It's like a Camaro showing up to a Porsche event. Anyway, yes, I'm your host, Doug Tabbitt, and SwitchCast is the podcast where we seek to educate, edify, and entertain you on the drive of your life. This is the final episode of Season 3. We changed things up quite a bit for Season 3, and the feedback was pretty positive. So thank you for that. And by all means, share that feedback online. Wherever you download and listen to podcasts, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, and that definitely helps us out. So anyway, we wanted to highlight a little bit kind of what we've learned and what has happened in the 2 years since starting the podcast. And please, anybody watching live, we're going to open this up to questions as much as we can tonight for the 2-year anniversary. So get those questions in, and we will be happy to engage with you guys tonight. So since we've started SwitchCast 2 years ago, I did set out and say that, well, we're going to try this for a year, no matter what, no matter how badly it goes, and then we're going to reevaluate and see if we keep doing it. And really what I wanted to see is, are we growing, right? Because if it's just like start strong and peters off, I'm like, all right, cool, well, everybody came to the first one and then nobody cares. So we're not doing anything that people, that's of value, because I don't want to do this if it's not of value to other people. As much fun as it is, talking into a microphone into a camera with nobody on the other end is.
I mean, we could just hang out and talk and drink whiskey elsewhere
without a microphone.
That's more or less what it is. That's more or less what it is.
But we appreciate that people have responded and said, "Hey, this is worth listening to." And so, thank you to all of our audience for being here, for giving us your questions, for keeping us going. We would not be here without you. We would. We just wouldn't have microphones.
Yeah.
We would be here anyway.
That's true.
Not going to lie. We love doing this. We love talking about cars. But anyway, so a few things. Let's see. Carvana stock, since Carvana has been a topic of discussion. When we started SwitchCast, episode 1, Carvana stock was $282.
Oh, yowza.
Today it is $32.
Womp womp.
Let's see. Interest rates when we started. The Fed funds rate was 0.25% on our first episode. Now it is 5.5%, and likely increasing.
Yup.
Gas prices were $3.32, which corresponded to $80 a barrel. They are now $3.57 national average and $88 a barrel. There's not always that direct correlation, but there's a correlation here. But surprisingly, they haven't gone up quite as much as everything else in terms of inflation. The average new car payment in October of 2021 was $617, which is pretty staggering, but it is even more staggering. It is a record high of $729.
Oh my God.
The average new car payment.
And
people are way upside down too. I'm hearing stories from dealers of people trying to trade in cars. It is not pretty. Not pretty. Depreciation is a thing again for new cars. People had forgotten that was a thing. But yes, new cars lose half of their value in the first 3 years.
I mean, when I got my 911, I had like nearly a $700 per month car payment over a couple of years, and I thought that was staggering.
But over a couple years.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine on a normal appliance car over 5+ years. Like,
6 is like the standard now.
Oh my goodness.
7, 8, not even. Yep, no big deal. No big deal. $700 a month for 7 years for a new car
on an Ultima.
Yes. Since we've started 2 years ago, the Corvette curmudgeon has changed his oil 0 times and won 17 trophies in the C5 class.
And he hasn't brought any of them here.
I know, right? That guy.
Since we've started in 2021, the Cannonball record has not been broken.
There we go.
Yep.
Let him know.
Let's see. The number of scams we've identified called out on the show is debatable, but at least a couple dozen. Since we started in 2021, I've gotten pulled over 0 times and gotten 0 tickets. Ethan? Tyler?
I've gotten pulled over 0 times, and I've got 1 ticket in the mail.
I was going to say, how does that work?
Well, we talked about this.
That's right. You got a mail.
Allegedly, I was
ticket.
speeding in Mayfield.
Right. Okay.
Also 0 pullovers and 0 tickets. But Doug, didn't you get a ticket for parking in a handicap spot?
No, I got a warning.
Oh, okay.
Next time you'll be towed or something
giant
like that.
cannonballs.
No placard.
Yeah, no plaque. I had no placard. Since we have started in 2021, I have been called the following.
Oh,
It's a good segment.
Third party cool. Como vibes. Chomo vibes.
Oh, like the governor or mayor of New York, like Cuomo?
No,
There's no way.
Chomo
Okay,
is
Chomo.
I had to look it up. I'm not going to say it on here. It's
Fair.
yeah. Worst guy from VinWiki. Utter
Wow.
pine cone. Walmart version Patrick Dempsey. Total douche canoe.
Classic.
So hot.
Oh, Ethan, are you planting comments?
Yeah. It's my burner
The Christian
account.
rock of car guys. Which only people who listen to Christian rock will get.
That's
It might be one of the worst insults, honestly.
that one cuts deep, man. Ugh.
Since we have started in 2021, Ethan, our producer, has quit his full-time job and started his own marketing business.
He did.
And I think he's pretty good at it, given what he's done with the podcast. Ethan, tell us what you've done with the podcast since we've started.
Yeah, we've seen a lot. We've done a lot. Obviously, the podcast has had many different forms, kind of in the 3 seasons. It's been on the road. It's had call-in, but essentially what we've done is just try it and cross-channel promote it through a website and also just social media presence, which we have some numbers here. For YouTube specifically is what I think we all would agree was our main social focus. In 2022, and this is just the year 2022 as a whole. I have like total numbers since we started the podcast, but in the whole year of 2022, the SwitchCast channel amassed a amount of views totaling 110,200. So far in 2023, so fourth quarter just begun, we are currently at 3.9 million, which is a 3,439% increase in views.
Whoa.
Ethan figured out shorts.
Yes,
The
short
hack.
form content.
Yes.
Yeah.
We started doing well with them too. That was
So that's a
we
big part of it
struggled
as well, is
At
doing
first with
well.
those, and we quit, and then
We bailed
did them again.
in 21. We bailed on it because it was just wasting time, and
Yep.
then we figured it out.
Yeah.
Subscribers 2022. The entirety of the year, we grew by 1,800 subscribers. In 2023 so far, the 3 quarters we're in, we've had 9,000 subscribers, which is a % increase of 400.
Nice.
Since the podcast was launched, we've had a total of 4.1 million views on YouTube, a total of 71,300 hours of watched content, and a total of 11,000 subscribers gained.
Excellent. Thank
So-
you all.
Yeah.
How about TikTok? Because do we start TikTok
TikTok started
after
right
the
when-
podcast, right when we started it?
It started in tandem with it.
I didn't
yeah.
even want to do it. I'm a little bit of a boomer at heart. Sorry, TikTok people. I didn't understand TikTok. Ethan totally took it on and did it and posts all the content and forces me to respond every now and then.
Yeah. Whenever one's doing really good, I'll let him know, like, hey man, you want to hop in the comments? I'm like, I don't know.
He taught me how to do video responses too.
Yes.
Oh, look at
yes.
that.
I don't know if you've actually done one, but I've shown you how.
We did, and it was so good that it got taken down.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
yeah,
so good.
Callaway one.
It hurt the guy's feelings, and he complained.
Yeah, that did happen. But TikTok, if anyone wants to know how we're doing,
we went
on
from
TikTok
0 to hero on TikTok.
Pretty much, more or less, yeah. So you can literally look at the amount of followers and views and all that we have on our profile, and that's essentially representative of the total that we've had since we started the podcast. But TikTok's analytics system's kind of wonky. It only lets you go back 3 months, but the reports that I've been sending you for the past year, I was able to pull data from those. We only started doing that back in February, though. But since February, we've had 4.5 million views on TikTok and just under 300,000 likes, which is good. Total followers,
nice.
Whatever the number,
81,000 from 0 in 2 years. Yeah, awesome.
So that's pretty good.
And how's our audio podcast doing? Because I look at that and I go, so YouTube has algorithms, TikTok, Meta, all have algorithms. So you can grow in subscriber, but not necessarily views. You can put together a great video, it gets no views. The next one blows up for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
You can do your best to figure it out, but it's kind of random. And that's why we have a professional navigating all of this crazy maze. But the audio podcast, which is really our main focus, because that's what we want to it's a direct way to measure our growth, because the number of subscribers, as they increase, those people get the downloads, and therefore the number of listeners increase. So how is our audio podcast doing?
Yeah, it is really cool to look at like the live stream and see like, oh yeah, we had X amount of people with us the whole time on YouTube, and then a day later it's like, wow, look at that, we're already at 800 views or whatever on the stream. That's really cool. But you are right, the audio version of this, the thing that manifests itself on Spotify and Apple and all that, is kind of the crux of what we're doing here. Year one on Spotify, we had just under 14,000 total starts and just under 13,000 starts, 11,000 streams.
Okay.
Year two, the amount of starts that we had was 31,000, so we've more than doubled that. Same thing with streams. Total streams went to 24,000. So in terms of growth, yes, we've more than doubled our total downloads and streams on Spotify. For Apple, again, Apple Podcasts has kind of a wonky reporting metric here, but we've had a total of 85,000 streams of all time on Apple Podcasts since we started this. So those are the numbers. We talk about growth. We've seen growth, and I am optimistic for what we're going to see going forward.
Awesome. Well, sweet. Thank you all. Episode is not over. That was just a summary to start us off. So thank you for bearing with our annual report there. Yes.
That was our reporting or earnings call.
Not earnings.
Right? I don't know how much we've earned, but
Well, about as much as Carvana. Negatory. Oh, man, we should go public. Then we don't have to earn money. We can just get multiple rounds of funding from venture capitalists and stocks and, well, I guess venture capitalists would be before we go public. I'm sorry. I'm sounding like an idiot here.
No, that sounds great, though. I really think I need a GT3 to enhance my performance on the podcast. So if we can make that happen, fantastic.
Yes. Who wants to buy stock? I mean, it's a better investment than some of the things we've discussed on here. I think it's a better investment than Celine Corporation.
Celine, yeah.
Probably. For sure. Oh, my goodness.
We have the numbers to back up growth, at least.
Yes.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yes. Yeah, and our revenue has increased.
We have made
We had
more
zero
money
revenue at the beginning.
And now we have revenue.
We have some money.
Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, let's go to a commercial, and then let's get to some questions and some news updates and stories and all the fun stuff.
Yes, and SwitchCast is brought to you by Boxcast. Boxcast is a live streaming company based in Cleveland, Ohio, and they serve broadcasters and viewers around the world. Their founders launched Boxcast back in 2013 with one purpose: to make people a part of the experience. So if you're looking to live stream your podcast, church service, car show, a sporting event, wedding, or even your cannonball attempt, Boxcast is an easy and flexible live streaming platform for organizations. Boxcast is so easy that we're broadcasting this show with a phone. So head on over to switchcars.com/boxcast for your free trial.
All right. I think I need a drink to read this story because it's crazy. And this drink is brought to you by, well, it's Bonbrecker. Yep. Hefeweizen whiskey. Random box showed up at the shop yesterday with a bunch of bottles of whiskey from the Cask and Barrel Club. And it was billed to Scott Hooks. We have no idea who that is, but thanks, Scott, if you're watching, for the whiskey. Can we get a... yes.
That's great. We'll boost
Ooh,
the
sound
audio
effects.
on that.
We getting some ASMR going. Somebody's got to pee.
Tyler, you need to try this. Tyler is a bourbon aficionado. We had a very hoity-toity bourbon tasting this weekend, and he correctly identified Pappy's out of 10 random ones, and only 3 people got Pappy's correct.
Yeah.
So,
Gassing me up. I was so excited to be wrong. It'd be so much more funny.
I identified Evan Williams out of all the other top shelf.
Which was
things.
my
you
least
thought that was
favorite one.
Pappy's?
No. I
Oh, that was
identified
your
it correctly.
favorite.
That was the one that I
Oh,
got. No,
gotcha.
far from my favorite. I think I said it tastes like sweat.
Yeah,
I
you
think
did.
was what we
Yeah, it was not
described
great.
Anyway, so this is a submission from Matthew Davis, also known as Captain Chaos. It's a CBS News article, and we've touched on some of the emissions stuff that EPA is doing with tuning companies and other companies, car dealers, really cracking down on the automotive kind of aftermarket niche. So eBay may have to cough up as much as $2 billion in fines, billion with a B, for allegedly allowing the distribution and sale of products that significantly increase pollution. I hold on. I like how they say allegedly allowing the distribution of sale, but they don't say allegedly significantly increase pollution. That's hard fact. Significantly increased pollution spewing from diesel pickup trucks. Yes, we're talking about aftermarket rolling coal devices. Apparently 340+ thousand devices were sold through eBay over a span of 8 years. But then this article says that eBay sold them. Well, eBay didn't sell them. eBay is a marketplace, but apparently now the marketplace is being held liable for what customers have bought and sold that is supposedly illegal. And each device that was sold, which is probably like a couple $100, is subject to a $5,500 fine. These items are sold through eBay's platform in violation of the Clean Air Act, according to a Justice Department complaint. This is not justice, by the way. This is just picking on.
I say it feels like they're trying to make an example of a large entity that could maybe somehow deal with this amount of money, but that is
Here's the
absurd.
thing. They're also, I mean, not from this article, but from what I've heard firsthand stories and secondhand, they are also going after the small companies that are doing this. So they're probably trying to find eBay and the companies that actually listed them and or produced them. Like they're probably trying to find everybody along the line for every device sold. I would bet you. But here's the thing. Where is $2 billion going to go, right? It's going to go into government coffers and get used up. Like, what is that going to do for the environment? Jack squat. It's going to do nothing. But the EPA has gone absolutely mad in their enforcement of the automotive aftermarket stuff. We've talked about it before. It doesn't need, I guess, repeating in terms of the stuff we've brought up about it. But it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse because they only have so many people they can go after. And government employees, like once their job is done, it's not like, oh, EPA, well, you've done a good job. Let's scale down. It's like they only increase. The IRS just gets bigger and bigger. Government only gets bigger and bigger. Ohio has 11 million people and 750,000 government employees. So that's like one government employee per 9, 10 people, whatever, 12, whatever. Yeah. That's, little much. So it's only a matter of time before they're going to just start coming after individual people that are driving a car that has a tuning kit on it or something like that. Like it's gonna suck. So yeah, that's depressing news of the day, but there you have it. We'll see how eBay does against this lawsuit. I'm sure they'll settle out of court for, $500 million or something like that. And nothing will become better about the environment.
But some people will be very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, there's a part of me that's like, we could probably use less rolling coal because that's really annoying and just, absurd. But when they start coming for tuning kits and aftermarket exhausts and stuff that I actually care about, I'll probably get upset. So this is a little unnerving.
Listen, we got stuck behind a truck on the highway the other day that was rolling coal. They weren't trying to. They were hauling a trailer. So every time they accelerated, they just rolled coal. But they also wouldn't move out of the left lane. So we were stuck behind them for like 5 miles. That was super annoying. But I'm like, I don't know. My bigger problem was that they were in the left lane.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, I don't care if you're rolling coal. Get in the right lane.
Yeah.
And then people aren't stuck behind you, like forced to breathe that in.
Did you try to flash them and then it just got covered in all the coal and they couldn't see you, so they had no idea? Just blissful ignorance.
Yeah, they knew there was people behind them and they didn't care. So, gosh. Interesting market update. So, I found this quote online today talking about Porsches, and this guy sounded really, really smart. And there's a lot of big words in here, so pay close attention. What drives asset markets, speaking of like high-end cars, as they're called asset markets except when they depreciate, and then they're not. What drives asset markets isn't always singular or binary, but usually a combination of multiple factors. In this case, my guess is that the majority of it has to do with the asset bubble the Fed has been promoting with cheap money. The number one beneficiary has been equity and bond markets, which is a nominal representation of money supply, not a real one. People feel richer, people buy more stuff. On a side note, M1 money supply in relation to actual goods and services is, by some accounts, 50 to 100% higher than since the Great Recession. Blah, 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 blah. If you want a vintage Porsche and don't want to pay these prices, wait for X time because there's a lot of tech millionaires who might not have grocery money at some point in the future. Cars are one of the first things to go. Now, sounds really smart, right? This was like a response to a for sale ad.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know how it was relevant, but this was said in January 2017.
Oh,
right?
Seems the opposite has happened.
Exactly.
Right.
Sounded really smart.
I was about to say, does this mean that some air-cooled 911s might become reasonable again?
Right. So the irony is, it's funny, right? A lot of tech millionaires who might not have grocery money, right? Because of COVID. Now, granted, COVID was an anomaly in world history, but the tech millionaires became tech multimillionaires. Yeah. But if you want a Porsche and don't want to pay these prices, wait for X time. Well, all they've done is go up and up and up and up and up. The irony of this is the car that he was commenting on, it was a 2016 Boxer Spider with 2,200 miles for $92,000. The same car got offered to us. This is how I found this comment. I was searching the car. The same car has 10 times the miles on it now, and it's worth the same amount of money. So, yeah, that comment didn't age well.
Not at all.
All that to say, just because people know a lot of big financial terms doesn't mean they know what the frick they're talking about. However, we know what we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
We shoot it to you straight.
Just like our whiskey.
Right.
Nice.
That was neat. That was a neat joke.
Oh.
That was not how. Whoa.
That was good.
It's been a while since we've had the drum, I feel. Or has it been there and you just haven't hit it?
Maybe I haven't been that funny.
That's probably one.
Or I've been more funny to they're exceeding the level of dad jokes and rimshot jokes.
Oh, so they're just like
People
real
are
jokes.
actually laughing.
I love it.
Yes.
Nah, that can't be it.
Ethan didn't include that in his metrics. There's got to be a way to
It
measure
is
that.
in your DNA to tell dad jokes. There is.
But I'm not a real dad. I'm a faux pas.
See, yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, guy can't help himself. Man. That's what I'm talking
You set
about.
me up for that, and that wasn't even scripted.
There's no way.
As if we script any of this.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Loose outlines. Oh, man. Yes. Let's go to some questions before we get too off track here.
One that is actually kind of relevant that I'm curious. I know nothing. Daniel Gray on YouTube said, didn't the EPA announce that they're done going after people for emissions? They say that there was some announcement about it. Does that sound familiar at all? Obviously, no, because they're... Or is the eBay thing from the EPA?
Is the what? The eBay thing is from the EPA, yes. The EPA is filing a lawsuit. I'm sorry. The Justice Department filed a lawsuit on behalf of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, if you got a link for that, Daniel, throw it in the chat. I'd love to see what you're talking about.
I'd love to think that that's true. I just, like, what else are they going to do? I mean, maybe they ran out of victims, but there's still used car dealers aplenty. Like, yeah, they're going to run out of victims, but there was a good question from Instagram. Did you see that one, Tyler?
Do I
put it in your notes there
Yes.
from Sam.
Sam Gullett on Instagram. Doug, are there any stories from the early days of starting your business that taught you lessons on how you run the business today?
I don't know if there are particular stories, but there's things I learned and things I would do differently. Probably the most important thing, me being, I don't know if it's ADD or entrepreneurial spirit or stubborn or whatever, I worked for a car dealer for 5 months and then started out on my own, basically saying, I can do this better. That was extremely arrogant and pine cone-ish of me to think. And the best thing to do would have been to, like, okay, I want to be in the high-end car business. I want to start my own dealership. I should have gone to work for an independent that didn't have the drama that the dealer I was working at had, and kind of like studied under them and learned the ropes while making money, essentially on somebody else's dime, versus learning the ropes on my own dime, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get rich off of these deals. But at the same time, I went broke. Once I'd gone broke once doing a different business prior to starting it. But, you know, the price I paid was probably the same as a master's degree at an Ivy League school, whereas I could have gone to work for somebody else, learned all the principles, making 6 figures a year, and come out with a, nice, hefty nest egg to start with. It's not nest egg. That's a retirement fund. What's the feeder? No, I don't know. There's a term for it. I can't remember. But there's a million stories behind that, but I think that's probably the biggest thing that I learned, that if I could go back and do it over, that would be it. And when people ask me how to get into the car business, I'm like, well, go get a job. It's like, no, I want to do what you did. I want to start by flipping cars. And I'm like, yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't. Go get a job for someone else, flip cars under their umbrella, and see how well you do, and then go off and do it on your own. So, yep. That is a good question. Let's go to a commercial and come back with more segments.
And SwitchCast is also brought to you by Celebrity Machines. Celebrity Machines offers more than 250 different screen-accurate license plates as they've appeared in movies and TV shows, such as Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, The Fast and the Furious, Breaking Bad, and so many more. Celebrity Machines also makes our dealer insert plates, as well as our commemorative 2539 plates from the fastest cannonball run ever. Visit celebritymachines.com for more info and use promo code SwitchCast to save 25.39% at checkout.
Hey, look.
It's Hank, the Corvette curmudgeon.
Doggone.
How you doing, Hank?
How's it going? Let's get this show on the road. I was supposed to be on after the first commercial. I'm tired. I heard it's some special episode tonight. You got lots of questions, so.
I do. I would like to know why you won so many trophies this year and you didn't bring any in to show us.
Well, why would I bring them in? They're in my trophy case at home.
But you could brag about all of your great adventures and car shows you've been to.
Well, you know, I don't need to brag to you guys.
Yeah, we know how cool you are.
You're not really real car people. You don't own a Corvette.
I'm sorry. I've got a 911, which isn't a Corvette, but...
You shouldn't call it that. Some people might get offended.
Ooh, anyway, yeah. So we do have some questions here for you that some folks have put in on online, like on Instagram and stuff, who've been watching the podcast and seeing the posts and reels we put up on Instagram.
Yep.
I do notice you've got a new outfit tonight, which I think you're looking spiffy. But you have a coffee mug.
Yeah.
What kind of coffee?
Well, I heard we're gonna be here late, so I need a little pick me up.
I guess it is 8:30. It's a little late. What kind of coffee you drinking there?
Oh, Folgers.
Oh.
Yep. Best part of waking up is Folgers in my cup.
Think I would like to respectfully disagree. Folgers is just wood shavings that are colored to look like coffee, but that's fine.
Now, you think you're fancy or something? You go to them Starbucks?
No, not even a huge fan of Starbucks. I like local coffee shops that roast their own beans. You can have
Sounds
so much.
frickin' expensive.
Yeah,
You know what I like about Folgers?
What do you like?
It's cheap and it's caffeinated.
Look, I cannot argue with you there, but I like my coffee to taste good.
You would.
Classic Tyler.
You know, I think Hank was looking at my skinny jeans to try and make a comment about those right there for a second.
Yeah,
but
he
resisted.
was eyeing it up. He passed on it.
So how about these questions?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not getting paid to be here all night.
Fair.
So
They did give me some free coffee, though. That was nice.
So Doug makes that coffee? All right, I'll need to have a talk with Doug. So Waterwave1 on Instagram takes some umbrage with the color of your Corvette. What is the color again?
Light carmine red.
Yes. So they say it's called magnetic red. Moron.
What? Who's calling me a moron?
This person on Instagram. I have no idea who they are, but they got very offended because apparently your car is colored magnetic red.
The hell it's not. I think I know what color my friggin' Corvette is.
I would agree.
Friggin' boy needs to stay in his own lane there. Light carmine red was only made in 1997, 1998. And the 1998 was the first year of the C5 convertible. So 1998 was the only year that they made light carmine red in a convertible. They made 513 of them, and then it got replaced with magnetic red metallic, which is a very nice color, but they made over 7,000 of them. It ain't friggin' rare, and it ain't light carmine red. Who's the moron now, Pinecone?
Is that the same color that's on the anniversary card?
Are all your viewers this stupid?
I'm not going to comment on that. I got to read their questions and stuff. Some of them might be. I think we can move on, unless you'd like to berate them some more for being ridiculous.
Well, I'd like to meet this guy.
All right, Waterwave. Hope you're out there listening.
Probably can't hold down a good job.
All right, we've got another question here from You Are Not Bill is the username. Since your Corvette is the best Corvette, if you win the lottery, would you buy more Corvettes? And if so, which Corvettes would you buy?
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, that would be nice. I do play I do play Keno quite a bit, and I play the Mega Millions. Yep, definitely. I think my wife would want a new house. She's talked about that quite a bit. Yep. I build myself a nice garage with a checkerboard flooring and might have my own Keno machine.
Ooh, yeah.
But no, I'd buy a 1953 Corvette, first year they made them, and goodness gracious, I buy a 63 split window Corvette and probably a 67 big block. I buy a 78 anniversary Corvette, 78 pace car. I buy a 96 collector's edition. I buy a 93 anniversary edition. I buy a 1989 anniversary edition. I buy a 2003 anniversary edition. I buy a 2013 anniversary edition. let's see, what else? I buy a 1990 ZR1, a 1996 Grand Sport. All of those are very rare cars.
I noticed the 98 pace car was not on your list.
That's freaking ugly.
Do you not? What is it? Is it the purple or the yellow seats? Do the yellow seats
It's
really?
purple and yellow together. I mean, friggin' purple's no, couldn't do it.
So
I know they're rare, but I couldn't do it.
That's right. I'll drive it for you. You Are Not Bill follows up their question with, I'd like to ask why you would buy any additional Corvettes since you already own the best Corvette.
Well, yeah, but I'd want to own more. It's the best Corvette because I own it.
So
Plus, I'd also maybe donate a few. Well, not donate a few. I'm not that. But if I won the lottery, maybe I'd donate. But I'd loan them to the Corvette Museum because then, I could take trips down there and tell people that my cars were in the museum. That would be pretty special.
So if you bought
I
all of these,
might even buy the Corvette Club lunch if I won the lottery. We'd have to see about that
at the museum.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, that's gonna be a hefty bill.
Have to be the Powerball though.
Oh yeah, the big ones.
Yep.
So what would be the best Corvette if you bought all of those?
Oh goodness. That's a tough one. Probably a 53 Corvette because that'd be the most rare.
So the best Corvette would change.
Yep.
All right. Just checking. Want to make sure I got that. You got that on record, Ethan? Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. All right. We've got one more question here for you. Nick goes fast.
Does he really?
Well, maybe if he has a Corvette. I don't know.
Probably.
If you couldn't have a Corvette, if you can imagine that, what would be your next choice for a pleasure car?
Well, Tyler, I don't think I'd want to live in a world where I couldn't have a Corvette. I've worked hard and saved my money, and if there was some reason I couldn't, like the government took too much in taxes or something like that, then that would be a sad world indeed. I think I deserve a Corvette for all I've worked for. Yeah, I don't want to think about a world where I couldn't own a Corvette. But if there was some other reason, I don't know, if my joints started getting old, I couldn't get down into it, couldn't work the clutch or something, I think I might buy a Cadillac XLR. It's got an LS engine in it. It's pretty nice. Yep.
Hank, do you know that is essentially just a Corvette with a different body?
Well, yeah, that's why I'd probably buy it.
All right, just making sure you knew.
But it's a little more friendly to the aging joints,
For sure. I got to respect that. We do actually have one more. Toa Khan on YouTube live. So somebody's watching right now.
Yeah. Where do I look to say hi to him?
Right in front of you.
Right in front of me. I see a little black box thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just stare at that. He's in there.
What's his name?
Toa Khan.
Jim. Okay. Jim.
There you go.
All right, so Jim says, Hank, I found a C4. Should I buy or run? Because C4 is the best, right?
Ooh. Well, no, C5's better. C5's good if you don't have too much money. It's never going to be as good as C5. But, it depends. Depends on the which one you get. The 96 Grand Sport is one of the best, one of the most rare. It's the last year of it. 1993 anniversary one's pretty good too. ZR1's pretty nice as well, and the collector's edition as well. But them early, you don't want them early crossfire injection. Those are pieces of turd right there. They don't run right. So they're okay. They're okay.
Alrighty, that's some good advice.
Hank, explain to the folks at home what your hat says, because this is a new hat for you.
I forget. What's it say? Oh, yep. Yeah, this is a funny one I picked up at yard sale. It was cheap. It's my age. I've seen it all, heard it all, done it all. I just can't remember it all.
You couldn't even remember what was on it. That's just great.
But I remember how many of my Corvette were made. 513 in light carmine red.
Darn
you
right
mark
you
that
do.
down.
I got it.
He's only got room for the important stuff, Ethan.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I have it on my poster board, too, in case I do forget it.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, Hank the Corvette curmudgeon, for hanging out and for being with us all this season. This is a kind of season finale show, so we
very
thank
kind
you
of
for
you.
coming on.
Yeah. Okay, great. Is there more coffee out there? Can I get some on my way out?
Absolutely.
Somewhere, you'll
Take
see
as
good.
much of that Folgers as
Free
you want.
refills?
Absolutely.
Good.
Alrighty, and the Corvette curmudgeon, as always, brought to you unwittingly by the Corvette Buy-Sell Trade Group on Facebook. That is your source for cranky boomers, overpriced Corvettes, and reinforced stereotypes. Boy, I think that's the longest Hank has been here.
Man, he really put
And
on
it's so late. I hope he doesn't fall asleep on the way home. We should make sure somebody takes care of him.
Someone needs to check. Do we have his emergency contact?
No, I don't think he lets his
provide
wife have
one.
a phone for some reason. It's very weird.
That guy, man, I'll tell you.
Hey, Doug, how's it going?
I don't think he's that dark ages. I think he would just be very offended if any male had his wife's phone number,
Oh, you're right. That's probably more accurate.
True.
especially Jay Roberts.
Yeah, he didn't.
Why you got
take
my wife's
kindly.
number?
He didn't like that guy.
Yeah, he didn't like him enough that he complained about him to me the following week,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even here.
That's living rent free, as they say, in your head.
Oh gosh.
Well,
So
Well, what a transition, Ethan.
we had to get out of that somehow.
I think Doug was ready to take us on a new journey.
Well,
You're like,
I didn't
well.
know.
yes, let's. Oh gosh, I'm on Tyler's notes here. I'm like, why is my Scaminator
Oh
notes
my God!
blank?
Now the audience knows that I have notes that I have to reference.
Ah, yes. Oh no, so I do have a story of how the Corvette curmudgeon was inspired. And most people think, wow, it's just Corvette guys at car shows. But there was one guy in particular. I posted a photo of him on my Instagram this week. Go check it out. It was an older guy in a Jegs jacket, yellow, red, whatever, that he had probably gotten for free or half price because he had ordered so many parts out of the Jegs catalog. And it was very dirty. I think he wore it every day and never washed it. He also had some like Snap-on or something Chevy hat on that was all sweat stained nasty. But then he had khaki pleated pants on that were a little too short. They were high waters or whatever you call them out here. And ironically, he was not wearing New Balance. He was wearing like loafers.
Did he have
Almost
white
the-
socks though?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I tried to get a full body picture of him and didn't.
The
but
pleated khakis that's a good.
he was just going around like kind of glaring at the info sheets in front of these priceless cars. But Chevrolet had a display there, and it was just their like sponsor display, right? It was they had a couple C8 Corvettes, and they had some models there who were repping them and didn't really know much about them. They're just paid to look good in front of them and answer the most basic of questions like, well, how much does this cost? Yada, yada, yada. So it's not like they were unveiling new products or whatever. They just send their stand around to every show in the country. And he goes up to this poor, like 25-year-old model that's just there, again, to smile and answer basic questions. And he starts berating her. I can't believe this show is ridiculous. I can't believe Chevy, they only brought out the C8 Corvette and it's this exact same car that was at the last show and event, and I traveled to this, and I can't believe I paid all this money, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves that you only brought out a C8. Like, what the heck? I've seen this car before.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm just standing there going like, what?
That's great.
Oh, if only you would have recorded it.
I'm like, you do realize there's like a C5R down there, and it's like John Greenwood's Corvette and all this different stuff that's not part of the Chevy display, right? Like, it's just a like rolling showroom for their new products.
Want them to pull stuff from the archives.
I was
That's
like, oh
great.
my gosh. And I think that just like cemented in my brain, and the Corvette curmudgeon was born out of that. Is that guy yelling at the poor model because Chevy's display was a repeat of the last event they were at, and that was
That's
such
so
an
good.
abomination.
That's
Have
so
you
good.
found the jacket?
Not the identical one.
Okay.
I found a similar one, but not that one. I would like to.
That would be amazing. Season 4 Hank would have a
Yeah, we gotta
Jag-
have a jacket.
we gotta source one of those.
Yep.
Just gotta buy more from the catalog.
So going to the Scaminator. Now, most of the time we were talking about scams that we identify or our listeners submit to us and try to call out how we know that they're a scam so people can try not to get scammed. One of the number one ways people get scammed is with fake cashier's checks. It is the oldest trick in the book, and scammers still use it, that they'll send you a cashier's check for an amount slightly more than the car and then ask you to cash it as soon as you deposit it. It's good enough that the banks think they're real. Tellers aren't necessarily trained to sniff out fake cashier's checks, and these things look good. And Ethan, are you reacting to the Slow River blend or something else?
No. It was something else out there.
Somebody put some.
Did you accidentally pour one of the potentially punishment whiskeys?
Did I? Is there more than one punishment whiskey out
Well, Malort is not a whiskey, but there is a whiskey that is vaguely punishment because it's weird.
Oh, I think it is.
Was it in like a short little squatty bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
The bottle looked so cool.
It did, didn't it?
The bottle looked so cool.
Suckered me out of like $120.
I had never heard of it. I looked at the thing and I was like,
$120?
"That's insane,
I
man."
think so.
For
It's
that,
not good. Oh yeah,
for what I just
not
drank,
good. Not worth it.
Bile and sweat.
Is it better or worse than Malort's?
Dude, this is insane. This is the craziest whiskey I've ever had. I didn't recognize it, and I was like, "This looks cool."
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah.
And the tag sounds interesting.
Oh,
It's like Apothic wine. Looks good.
Oh, I'm so glad we got that on
this
audio.
whole time, and I've been like dying inside. Good heavens, man.
Oh man. So anyway, back to the scams. That's one of. There's a scam
Yeah.
right there.
Let's talk about
what
this.
whiskey is
Let's
it?
expose them. Who is it?
It's called Untitled Whiskey. They
Oh.
it's not sold in Ohio. I found it when I was traveling. They finished it in like 4 or 5 different wines that don't match up together very well. So it's a roller coaster of flavor that's all bad.
just an abomination.
It's a fake cashier's check.
You
of
need to
whiskeys.
wash it down with some of this
Blarg.
this
Yeah,
other
this
stuff
is-
that we've
this
got.
is different. It's
I
a
need to
little
drink
bit
some
sweet.
Malort to get this taste out of my mouth.
Hefeweizen whiskey. So the other thing people do is they'll just buy cars straight out with fake cashier's checks and take the car and the title and be gone. And in the past, when we've seen these situations, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I sold my car to a scammer. The cashier check was bad. The wire transfer never came through. Whatever." And typically, the insurance companies will say, "Well, you're an idiot. Too bad, so sad." Right? It's not theft because you entered into a contractual agreement. You wrote a bill of sale. It's signed, and you just didn't get paid. So you have to try to sue them or whatever. So there are special types of insurance for that, at least for dealers, which is like false pretenses coverage. But in the past, everything I've seen is if you sell your car to a scammer with a fake cashier's check, you are out of luck. However, we got a tip from one of our regular listeners that a friend of his sold his Audi for $32,000 to a scammer unknowingly, didn't do it on purpose. And the bank said the check was good, whatever that means. Again, I'm not going to trust a bank to say it's good. But it bounced a few days later, as fake cashier's checks do. His insurance company, Erie Insurance, paid out $40,000 on the car, deeming it stolen. Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure if you filed a police report and tried to like report it stolen, the cops would go, "Well, no, you got a cashier's check. You signed off the title. It's not stolen. You signed off the title." So you can file a different type of police report, like, fraud or, some sort of thing like that, and they'll investigate that. But I'm pretty sure that if you try to file a stolen vehicle report based on getting scammed out of it, I don't quote me on this, but I don't think that they would go for that.
So could you make a claim on your insurance for a stolen car but not have a police report to validate that it was in fact stolen?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Seems like
he may have produced all the documentation, or the police department might have said, "Yeah, you can file a report, but it's going in our file because this isn't a traditional theft." It's, I don't really know, but yeah. So he made $8,000 extra because he got scammed. And I was glad to hear that Erie paid out on that because Erie is my insurance company. They insure all of my cars. So I don't plan on ever filing a claim for that because guess what? I know how to verify a cashier's check. So if you're looking not to get scammed, it's pretty dang simple. One, you just learn the typical nuances of how scammers talk. It usually sounds like you're talking to AI that was coded by a foreigner. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But number two, let's say you do get a professional scammer that like is really good and makes you think they're real. It's very, very simple. There's a control number on cashier's checks, and there's an 800 number you can call to verify it. Some banks, you just call the branch. Other banks have like a specific line that you can call. When you're standing there before you deposit it, you call and you verify that that cashier's check is real. And like, it's that simple. That's how you protect yourself. Because if it's real, it will not bounce. A cashier's check is as good as cash. There are some steps that people can take to stop payment on them, but it's very, very difficult from an issuer's standpoint. And if you had the paper trail to say, no, this was a legitimate transaction, pretty sure you could, stop payment. I've never seen it happen in 20 years of doing business. I've never seen anyone stop payment on a legitimate cashier's check, ever. I have seen multiple fake cashier's checks, and it's just that easy. You just call the bank, give them the control number, verify it, and they'll be like, yep, this was issued off of this account this day. It's real or it's not. That's all you have to do to protect yourself against these things. Not hard.
That sounds so easy.
It is very easy.
Oh, my goodness. So we have talked previously, I think in the Scaminator segment, about some interesting cars. So there's one that I don't really know, but I found in my Instagram feed full of Porsches a mint green GT3 991 Mark II, I believe.
Oh, boy. Yes. We've outed that one a bunch of times.
The same? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes. So for those of you who just joined us in season 3, I think it was season 2, we had a full scam episode, and one of them was this mint green GT3 that was a crazy story. It was abandoned. It was partially converted to a wide body. It was shoddily converted back with some not great paint jobs. It was shuffled from dealer to dealer, from auction to auction. The condition reports went from 4 to 2. It had structural damage. It didn't have structural damage. And yeah, it ended up in Florida finally in the hands of a private owner who there's no way they didn't know what they were getting because this car became so famous.
So how many, do you know, like there can't be many paint to sample mint green 991 GT3s.
Right. There's a lot of paint to sample 991 GT3s.
Yes.
It's not rare anymore, but mint green is a pretty rare color.
So is this car I'm referring to the same car?
The one at Ryan Friedman Motor Cars.
I am not going to confirm or deny.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah,
There's a mint green GT3 at Ryan Friedman Motor Cars.
Yes.
No, it is not the same car, thankfully. One, I don't think Ryan would buy a car with that kind of story. Ryan's smarter than that and pickier than that. 2, it has about half the miles as the mint green one. The other telltale sign of the mint green one is they had put the incorrect seats in it because the seats were gone under shady circumstances. So in a green GT3 with yellow accents and stitching and stuff, they put in seats with the red stripe. So it totally clashed. But that was whatever Porsche found to put in, or whoever bought it off the auction or whatnot. So, I mean, whatever. He could have sourced the original seats and put them back in. That was the first giveaway, is the correct seats were in the one Friedman had. The other giveaway was it has 7,000 miles and it's in California. I didn't actually check the VINs, but I didn't have to because it was like, nope, different mileage, different state, not the same car.
At least looks gorgeous. Was the other one a Mark II 991?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a 2018.
Gotcha.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
Tell you, Ryan Freeman is a good car porn follow on Instagram. So many good colors and so many good cars.
Yes. Yeah, he just sold a paint to sample Zanzibar Red 997 with Aero Kit on Bring a Trailer with 20,000 miles, which went for $88,000 with an accident on Carfax.
What?
Which I was like, that's the 997 market is bonkers.
That is crazy.
It is outpacing all the rest of the used car market is falling, and 997s are just like, yep, we love them. Everybody loves them. Yep. I shouldn't say all the rest of the car market, but they are one standout in the car market that is, breaking the trends.
I know, granted, Zanzibar is an incredible color, and there can't be more than like 1, 2 maybe, but
I mean, it's got to be the only Zanzibar with aero kit. Has to be.
My goodness.
If not, it's the only Zanzibar with aero kit and sport seats and the aluminum trim and red calipers.
Are we getting into
that year?
Corvette? Oh, yeah, there we are. The year thing. I knew it is. Ethan, he was doing a bit.
Oh, man. Speaking of values, how have we done on the appraiser?
Oh.
Tonight, we're going to find out the total of the season and find out who lost the most.
Yes. Ethan, have you tabulated the results?
Well, we have to look at last week's cars first.
Do. Ethan, do you know the results of last week?
I do not have Doug's numbers.
I put them in.
He put them in.
I did put them in.
All right.
I guess
They're
I
in
have
there.
them now.
So I chose a 97 993 Cabriolet garage find.
Oh, I'm actually really anxious about this.
Yep. 5-speed manual. You had guessed 55 grand.
I did.
And we all said you were high. And you were
what did it
sold
go
for 44.5.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
So not a terrible miss, but you lost money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. If you had put that bid in, it would have been the hammer.
Oh, God.
Would have ended the auction.
Thank goodness I didn't, because I don't want a 993 cab barn find. Even though it had gray interior. So for you, Doug, I picked a 1948 Chrysler Town & Country convertible, which is green with glorious wood paneling that was displayed at the Audrain Motor Museum recently, and that's the only reason it stood out to me. Is I was like, oh, hey, I know that room that car is in.
Yep. I knew nothing about the car, and I took a wild stinking guess of 50 grand.
You did, and it sold for $62,000.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad for knowing.
I've done worse on cars that I knew more about.
Ain't that the truth? So now I think Ethan is furiously typing on his producer laptop.
I am. So here's
what metrics are we using?
We have the difference, the dollar amount that you were off by. So
Yes.
you were too high plus whatever, you're under this whatever, and then we have the percentage miss. So what I've done is I've calculated the average percentage that you missed by. And what I thought I did, but I'm learning now I did not, was I thought I had like the total dollars that you were off by, but because some of those numbers were negative and some of them were positive, adding them up doesn't work.
No, I think that does work.
Yeah, because
a percentage miss is a total accumulation of how much we miss by high or low. So
Correct.
that just shows how bad we are. I was thinking the dollar amount would be like you would take the total sum as if we were like buying for a profit. So if we missed low, it'd be a good thing. And so if we missed high, it'd be a bad thing. But if we missed low more than we missed high, then in theory, we made money. Because if we missed high every time, then we just lost a whole bunch of money. So I think that does work if you take the sum.
Okay.
And ideally, it would be less than zero.
But okay, to play devil's advocate, maybe, and far be it from me to play devil's advocate with anything that it comes to cars against Doug Tabbitt. But
darn right.
Yeah.
Know your place.
So let's say, for instance, okay, Doug, back in August, don't know what the car was. Your guess was 21 grand, sold for 15.5.
So I would have lost.
You would have lost
$5,500.
Right. However, if we look the week before, you guessed 14 on a car that sold for 45.
I would have made $30,000.
I'm not sure I appreciate this sort of math.
That's
I get what
I'm
you're going
saying.
for,
I
but
don't know if you're guaranteed to make that because you're guessing what it's going to sell at. correct? We totally should have done
I'm
this
guessing.
beforehand.
I'm guessing the value. We did no, and this is what I said.
Okay.
So
No,
there's
you are-
two metrics.
you are right. You are right.
But the primary one is the average percentage.
Yes.
It's just how good we are at guessing.
For sure.
The secondary metric is us thinking, because that Century that I guess 14 grand on, everybody I talk to in the car business that has bought and sold Centuries is like, yep, no, 14 grand. That's what it's worth. And probably somebody paid 14 grand and it sold for 45. So somebody made bank on it.
So then what's to
because
stop
that's
someone
what
from
all-
guessing like $1 on everything?
No,
you
I
know?
think Doug is here
Because
trying
that's
to
not what wins the game.
You're okay.
turn
Okay.
the favor.
Okay.
No.
So
that's
let's
just a
start,
secondary.
Since that is the secondary
discussion.
metric anyway, let's start with that. Tyler,
Yes.
your total miss was plus $22,237.
So you lost 22 grand over the course of this game.
Honestly, with the prices I was guessing stuff at, that's not half bad.
I think the Viper kind of screwed me though.
Now, Doug, there was 1 week in the middle of August that did not do you any favors.
Yeah.
You were plus $410,000
Huh?
How did this happen?
because that, I don't know, whatever this was.
It was the RSR.
$440,000 was your guess on a car that sold for $861,000.
No. So I'd be negative. So I would have made money. I wouldn't be plus $400,000. Yes, I would be up $400,000.
You would be up $400,000,
Yeah.
which is why.
So if I had been able to buy them for my
right,
guess,
that's
then
why
I would
your
have made
total was
$400K.
plus $410,000. So Tyler,
gotcha.
actually,
Sorry,
you
you
guys
were-
were both in the positive. Sorry,
Okay,
yeah,
so
we did
you
it. We
made
did it right.
22 grand.
We did it right.
Nice.
In theory, I made $400K.
So you do come out on top, but Doug comes out on top more.
More
Either
on
way, this
topper.
is the secondary metric anyway.
Yes.
The average percentage miss. We'll start
All
again
right.
Here we
with
go.
you,
Drum
Tyler.
roll,
Drum roll.
please.
Tyler, you averaged missing by negative 16.4%.
Okay, that's better than I thought.
Doug averaged missing by negative 5.3.
Whoa.
Wow.
pretty good.
Not bad for a couple of big misses.
That's pretty
That's
good.
impressive.
Still got it.
Especially for that $421,000. Well, I guess you came under, but man.
But only, like, what does that work out to? Only a couple of times better than somebody that has no idea what the heck they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Tyler. Holy smokes. I mean, I'm genuinely impressed.
Yeah, Doug won, but
of
let's
your
gas
show.
me up.
No, I will. And again, far be it from me to weigh in on anything in this department. but
Honestly, Doug, we were closer than I thought
good
we'd
job.
be.
Good job to both of you. Doug
Me
is the
too. I
winner.
thought I'd cream you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought you would be like, I thought you'd annihilate me.
Oh, God.
That was a good time.
Doug, congratulations. Tyler, also congratulations.
Thank you.
because
Tyler, you
that
have to
is
drink
deserved.
Malort.
Nah, yeah, I knew
Where's
I
the
brought
Malort?
it from me.
Hey.
Oh, do I have to do this on stream?
Peanut
On
gallery.
any
We need
podcast?
Malort.
Yeah, I think we got to hear the audio of you doing
So next week, or start of next season, we are going to continue the appraiser because this is a fun game. So this week, I was browsing on P-Car Market again, and I know Tyler loves green Porsches. So
I do.
I picked a. We have not made that much money on SwitchCast yet. This week, I picked a 2001 Porsche 996 Turbo in Wimbledon Green.
Hold on a second, Doug.
What?
That is the car that I picked for you this week.
What?
I wanted to talk about it so bad because it's a 996 in Wimbledon Green.
Listen, it had to happen. I thought it was going to happen sooner than this.
What a great ending.
All
Oh,
the
my
cars out
goodness.
there. Yeah, so it's got 91,000 kilometers, black interior, thankfully.
I mean, it could work with gray. I'm just saying, like it
But it is in Italy.
is.
It's a Euro car in Italy, which means it cannot be brought over to the States for 2 years and 2 months, 2.5, 3 months.
yes.
So that definitely affects the value because P-Car Market, I think most of the buyers are U.S. based.
I was going to ask that is like, can you, I guess you could technically bid if you're outside of the U.S. if you really wanted to, but it's probably a mostly U.S. thing.
All right. So to do this properly, we're going to have to type our guess down because I don't want your guess influenced by mine or mine yours.
That's a good call.
So,
Let me,
mine is typed
okay, hold on a sec.
91,000 kilometers. So that's like 55,000 miles. What do we got here?
Okay, mine is typed. I will not change it.
Okay. 44 grand.
Oh boy, I am much higher than that. I guess 75.
Whoa!
It's a entirely unique color. This has got to be the only
it's
one
in Europe.
So somebody is gonna want this for collection purposes. Was my thought. Aren't good quality, interesting color 996 turbos worth 80 plus in North American ones?
Yeah, 75-ish, 80.
Oh
here.
boy, maybe I'm a little higher than I thought.
Wimbledon green is a one-off color. There is a huge premium for that.
Well,
no lie.
because I know
but
Ocean
cars
Jade
go for less in Europe. Period.
Oh, I forgot about
Porsches
that.
Go for less over. The market just isn't as strong over
Doug, I was so focused on the green that I was blinded.
Don't get me wrong. I think it'll be reserved, not met there, and maybe
Oh.
I'm light.
Okay.
But the fact that you can't bring it in yet hurts it. If you could bring it in now, I would have said 65 grand, because even after import and stuff like that, somebody will be in at 80 plus, which is too much, but somebody will pay too much for that color. But to store it for 2 years and then bring it in for a 996 turbo, it doesn't have 2,500 miles.
No, I mean you make some good points. I don't think
I make some
Wimbledon.
great points.
Oh, oof, well, okay. My guy over here gets to pour me a shot of Malort, and he's all confident. I don't know. I was thinking that Wimbledon Green was never offered on the 996. It was Ocean Jade. That was a similar-ish color. So, please be kind. That's not too bad.
Ooh. The PTSD.
Tyler Sanders, everyone, do it on camera. Come on over.
Hey, everyone's gonna see Tyler.
Doing a shot of
Face
Malort.
reveal. Yeah, you got to kneel down. There you go. Oh, you're behind the drum kit. There we go.
Mr. Whiskey
Perfect.
Aficionado, how bad is the Malort? What notes are you getting on that? What flavor profiles?
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. Tyler Sanders, everybody.
What year was that bottled?
Oh, God, doesn't matter. Still
How-
terrible. I'm glad So Dan Doucette in the Peanut Gallery brought some real nice whiskey tonight that I'm glad I drank first. Because my taste buds are blown out now. I can't taste anything.
Mine too, but not.
Some
God.
chocolate now. Anyway, it is time now for the props and flops,
man.
brought to you by SwitchCars. Can you even read this?
All right, here we go, everybody. Switch Cars is the enthusiast's dealership where we buy, sell, consign, service, and store only cars that we like ourselves. Check out our handpicked inventory at switchcars.com. And our pick of the week from Switch Cars inventory is... God, it feels like I'm breathing fire right now, and it's just bad Band-Aid taste. That's all I can think of.
2007 GT3 in cobalt blue. That's right, one of 23 made for the North American market. Full leather interior plus leather center console and a whole bunch of other leather additions. 38,000 miles, but very well kept. Coolant lines, pin, plugs, and coils done. Yada, yada, yada. Just a nice car with good ownership history, great service records, etc. Priced at $150K. And I don't think it's going to last more than a day or two, because that color is what is selling it. So
Water makes it worse. Can't. As I think one John Sabo famously said on the podcast, "Did you milk a cat?" when I had him do it live. Hoisted by my own petard, it seems. Anyway, go ahead, Doug. Oh, that GT3 is really nice, though.
yeah, it is.
If it was
We'll
green,
throw in a bottle of Malort with it if you buy it and use the discount code SwitchCast. The flop of the week. Again, a tip from Matthew Davis. He sent us some great stuff this week. A fake Dodge Charger police car. Now, there's a lot of police look-alike cars, and usually they are not illegal, but this lady bought a Dodge Charger and painted it in the Florida Highway Patrol black and cream, vanilla, whatever you want to call it. And it has blue light bar on top and a badge on the side that says FSO Guard instead of FHP. Yeah, so it is definitely trying to look like a police car. She even has the thin blue line license plate frame on it. Now, people make fun of brown nosers as like people that just support police. This is a whole nother level of like, I'm trying to be a fake cop, but at the same time...
No, Doug. In the article, it clearly states that she just fell in love with the color scheme.
Oh, right. Also, but... yeah. But she owns a security company, which if any of you follow police impersonators on YouTube. There's this Jeremy guy that is very, very famous for impersonating a cop, and he gets arrested all the time. He owns a security company. I feel like it's always guys that own security companies, and they get this police complex where it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to trick out my car with stuff, but then I'm also going to get badges and carry guns and do all this other stuff that they're really not allowed to do. And they go crazy with it. So anyway, but there's a nuanced law in Florida with regards to owning like ex-police vehicles or whatnot. It is illegal to own a car or paint a car or do anything with a car with the Florida Highway Patrol color schemes, that black and creamish. So the fact that she had the color scheme, that was the primary offense. She could have had a lot of these other things to have it resemble a police car in her security duties or even just to drive down the highway. I mean, let's be honest. We see Chargers and Crown Vics all the time with spotlights and light bars, whatever. That stuff isn't illegal per se. It is the color scheme specifically that is illegal. But then after that, it was like she had like fake temp tags and a whole bunch of other stuff, like didn't have a title to the car and a lack of insurance. She had dealer plate on it. She had a dealer tag on her active security vehicle. So that's a big no-no. So may or may not have had proper title to the car either. So
this is like the final boss of Big Ultima Energy or something.
It's like the trifecta right there. Yes, big Charger energy. Yes. Prop of the week. I'm going to be real cheesy here. 2 years in, prop of the week just goes to our listeners, our live audience, our crew, our sponsors. Big thank you to everyone for the fact that we are still here. And if you'd like us here next season, continue to listen, send us messages, leave us reviews, share the podcast, sponsor us, find some sponsors for us, whatever. We appreciate all of you. Stick around after for Tip Talk. We'll be happy to engage with you with a Q&A. That wraps up season 3. Thank you to Ethan Huffnagel, our producer and promoter. Thank you for Tyler Sanders, our official banterer. Thank you to our sponsors, Boxcast, Nuts for Sticks, SwitchCast, Celebrity Machines, Parallel Printworks, and Stephen Holm Woodworking. Our bumper music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. This episode will be available next Monday in audio format wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next season, Wednesdays at 8 p.m., as we look forward to educating, edifying, and entertaining you on the drive of your life.
We got a good audio track this week.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan, I got to be honest. While you guys start off Tip Talk, I need to go get a drink of that terrible whiskey to see how it plays with the Malort.
Oh, please, yes. Let me know your thoughts
Can
there.
you put some non-terrible whiskey in my glass?
Doug, you got to try this, man.
No, I don't. I really don't want to.
This is
too short.
unbelievable.
You guys should try some of this Hefeweizen whiskey. It's pretty good. It's a little sweet.
I wish
good.
I knew. Hey, okay, so into Tip Talk here. Got a few questions. First one's easy. It just says SEMA.
I will be in California the weekend before SEMA. I will not be at SEMA. Arnie will be, though. He's my better half in the cannonball world.
Arnie was actually hanging out in TikTok as well with us.
Yeah, no, I am just about done with automotive travels for the year. Got 2 more weekend trips, Florida this weekend and LA next weekend, and then I'm laying low for a little bit.
89 Fox says, you should bring Christopher Michaels on for a show. You two are the best.
Aw, I will tell Chris Michaels that he too are the best. And absolutely, I'll have him on. He would love to. He's visited me a couple times. We love hanging out. That dude is the real deal.
Chris is a good guy.
Absolutely, he'll be on.
User asks, how did this guy get the username User? That's crazy.
Maybe there's like 3 spaces afterwards that you just don't see.
Yeah, one of them. Why? What are your thoughts on it?
Dude, it somehow makes this so much worse.
I thought you were having like digestive issues.
Yeah.
over
God,
Really
that is
bad- really
that
bad
is
indigestion.
horrific.
It's rough, man. This
No,
is-
it's
I-
even worse after the Malort.
Yeah,
The
I'm not
Malort
gonna
plays
doubt
with the
that.
terribleness.
This is a rough outing I had tonight. I mean,
Ooh.
for 2 hours I've been.
That is the
That's good.
wild turkey
Strong.
that Dan brought.
You guys, man, bring all this nice whiskey, and I grab the one.
Ethan, I'm so sorry. You could have poured it out.
I'll just relish in the fact that it's a $120 bottle.
It's not worth
That's
it at all.
actually not. Yeah, I'm sure there's. Hey, why did you move from Maine to Ohio?
Darn it, he didn't ask me in the way that I was hoping.
How's that?
Usually people ask, how did you get here from Maine? And I said, car.
Good one.
My parents brought me. Yeah.
That's good. That's
Anyway,
like, well, that's actually,
it's the
that
old
reminds
man
me of one of
response.
my favorite things. You know how people say English is like the hardest language? I always go, well, to me, it's the easiest.
You look so proud of yourself when you say that, Ethan.
It's actually not my joke, but go on.
Why did I come from Maine to Ohio? There's not a lot of opportunity in Maine. It is a beautiful state to grow up in and to retire. Economically, it struggles, I think, if you're looking to make something of yourself. It's a state you typically leave. So that was it. I came out here for college and just stayed here. I made good friends here, good business opportunities, church relationship, et cetera, et cetera. And as they say, stuck in Ohio. So as much as I love Maine, like there's no way logistically I could do my business up there. So
And what did you go to college for?
to be edified, educated, and entertained.
It's good. Should be the goal.
Yeah, originally I went for mechanical engineering, which lasted for one semester. Basically all the 101 classes, and then I'm like, I hate this. This is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I realized I was stupid. Yeah. I was trying to program a tic-tac-toe game in like computer programming 101 and C++, and I was like so happy that I just got my AI to do something. And then I go next door and the Chinese kid in the dorm is like, hey, look, I have graphics on mine and stuff. I was like, how the heck do you do that? And I realized at that moment that I'm like, oh, so I want to be a car designer. However, I'm too dumb to be the guy at like that gets promoted. So I'm going to be designing like transmission fluid in a cubicle for the rest of my life. And I'm going to hate my life. So I'm going to quit and do something else. Yeah.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
You did. What's over on the YouTubes?
We've got Kidenek. Goodness, I butchered that. I apologize. Doug, what do you think of dry ice cleaning for cars?
Depends. We've done it sometimes. It depends on the purpose. If you have a collector car, a show car, something like that, or you're a car you're trying to sell and you want the underside to look awesome, I think it's a very good idea. Some people use it as a way. There's multiple purposes for it. Some people will say, well, there's a bunch of excess grime built up on my car over the years. I want essentially a reset. One guy said he removed like 80 pounds of crap from under his car. I don't think I believe that, but there's certainly a significant amount of stuff you can remove from under your car. And then if you want to drive it again in moisture, you can reapply a Cosmoline. For highly original cars that you can see, like this has the factory Cosmoline on it. It's not all stained by oil. Like this is original as it gets. I stand by the saying like it's only original once, and you should leave it that way. Even though people like to see shiny undersides on Bring a Trailer auctions, but on other cars, if you're going to show it, there's guys that'll order their cars from the factory without Cosmoline. They'll put mirrors under their cars, whatever. Like they go to Concours and stuff, and you know they want their cars to look pristine underneath. It's a great way to do that. it can be a good baseline of understanding what the condition of your car is underneath. I'm not going to do it on my personal cars because I drive them and I want the protection of whatever's underneath. And I also don't get any pleasure from looking at the underneath of my car because usually it means something expensive has happened.
Very true. I also think that, we've been to a lot of really great shows and concours together, and it is incredible to see some of the cars that, people have brought out, race-winning cars, just incredible rare things, beautifully restored Ferrari 250s. I am starting to feel, in a very privileged place, I think, having seen all this stuff, I'm a little fatigued on every car being beautifully restored. And the more original, especially the race cars where you can see the rock chips and the blemishes, and this has survived this long, is starting to become more impressive to me.
Sure. I think there's absolutely room for both. I think the dry ice makes sense for the cars that are not so collectible that they have to be preserved in original state, but they're in that mid-range of collectability where people want them to be clean, and they just want clean cars. Like if I had a bunch of 2,000 to 5,000 mile cars that I rarely drove that were quote-unquote run-of-the-mill collectible cars, I'd probably dry ice every single one of them because I love clean stuff. But then there's that's this center here, and then the outliers are the daily drivers, which is, who cares? You want the protection, and the super collectible cars that should be original. So, yeah. Case-by-case basis. Context,
You make some
whatever.
good points. Devin Ruckus, very frequent listener and question asker. Thanks for hanging around. What was Mark Spence's reaction to his surprise swag stash?
Oh man, forgot about that.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. He was very surprised, very happy. I think he was disappointed that we didn't get him an O.J. Simpson Bronco or whatever. But
Was he happy with the Malort that I brought? I carried.
He left the Malort here.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
What?
I had to force it upon him at a later date.
Shameful.
But yeah, it was good. It was good.
Mr. Nobody just threw us a little tip. Thank you. He says, Doug needs to see the price on Facebook Marketplace, Hamilton, Ohio, 1998 Dodge Grand Caravan. But then he said earlier that it has 70,000 miles, and it's for sale for $12,000.
What?
Good. That's more than that Windstar went for.
Collectible
wild.
Ford Windstar went
Yeah.
for
This is
10 grand.
This is a big if true right here.
That's what's in it. What's in the back that makes it worth that?
Do you know anything about it, Mr. Nobody? What are we working with here?
Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Dayton, Ohio. It's green with gold wheels.
Green,
which,
you
if that
say?
was a Viper, I'd love that color combo. Not gonna lie, love an emerald green Viper with brown interior. Xenia indoor yard sale. All caps. Yes. If you're looking, not Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, Y-O-U-R, that would drive my wife nuts.
What about my looking?
If you're looking for hold on. It's in all caps. If you're looking for dependability, this is the one. Like a new one. 64,000 original miles. Runs and drives exceptional. Well taken care of. No lights on the dash. No leaks. Smooth ride. Was used only for doctor appointments. That's one unhealthy son of a gun.
Wait, hang on.
64,000 miles?
Oh God!
Are you having an affair with your doctor?
Smokes.
Has a hitch.
They're not appointment. They're
What
not
are they
doctor
taking to the doctor?
Right?
Why do you need to trailer things to your doctor?
Absolutely no rust. All doors and windows work. Pristine interior.
Prestine.
SFPFBF.
Wait,
What?
What?
Does it keep out UV rays?
PFBF.
I don't know. Sounds like sunscreen boyfriend or something like that.
SFPF.
Very minor stains on carpet.
Oh, of what?
Fresh oil change.
doctor.
Everything is pretty much perfect. Everything
Ethan,
works
no.
cold AC, hot heat. And yes, the back AC works as well. Basically like a new van. No issues whatsoever. Fairly new tires. Ready to go. Clean title. Won't last long. Extremely dependable and made for traveling.
Won't last long.
$12,000 OBO.
I think it's going to last a very long time.
I'm not
at that price.
going to agree with that. Won't
No,
last
when they
long.
said won't last long, he meant the engine and transmission.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
car
that's accurate.
itself
He's just being honest with the buyer.
won't last
Yeah,
long.
That's good. That's transparency right there. That's insane. Man, I wish we knew about this.
We did. We just found out about it.
Worn out steering wheel. Are there photos?
Yes, there were.
This is just terrific.
Oh,
Thank you, Mr.
my
Nobody.
goodness.
That is fantastic. Thank you for that.
Oh man, 64,000 miles back and forth to doctor's appointments.
With a trailer.
That is so freaking funny, man. That is the most absurd description.
That's amazing.
Only used for doctor's appointments.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Got your highlight for next.
I mean that yeah, I really do. I'm gonna have to edit this because typically we don't put tip talk in the audio podcast, but this is so freaking good. I think we might need to make an exception.
Bonus. It's
Yeah.
outtakes. Oh man, I don't know if I can go on from there. If we got any really good questions, we can. But that feels like a good place to take a shot at Malort.
Yeah.
Ooh, so, not join me. I've already done it. But
This 98 Dodge Grand Caravan is the automotive equivalent of Malort.
Malort, yeah. Okay.
no, I think that is a great place to end
It's a
it.
great place to end. Thank you for a great season 3.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yes,
Thank you. And
thank you,
for
everyone.
that wonderful submission.
God, this whiskey is terrible.